Hey everybody, it's Gary with Moto Trips and welcome back. Do you hear this wind out here? I'm in Florida and this sounds like there's a blizzard going on. Anyway, just recently I had a good friend of mine, Seaville Bill, fly down from Charlottesville, Virginia to escape the north and go riding for a weekend. I took him on some of my favorite roads here in Central Florida, and Bill suggested, hey, why don't we do a video of the top roads that we were on? And I thought, man, that's a great idea. So this is a video of the top 7 roads here in Central Florida. And you might ask yourself, why didn't I do the top 10? Well, I kind of ran out of roads and I couldn't get to 10. So if you could leave some comments of your favorite roads, maybe I can do a update and do a top 10 video at some point. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Let's go. It's early February and it's great riding weather with temps in the high 50s. We headed out of Mount Dora, and over the weekend we'd ride to St. Augustine, up the East Coast, and over to the West Coast to the Ozello Trail and points in between. So here's where we rode and how we rated each road. All right, everybody, number 7 on our countdown is Sugarloaf Mountain. It's 312 feet above sea level, which really doesn't sound like a lot, but when you come from Florida, it's pretty impressive. And it's right outside of Claremont, Florida. You make a pretty impressive climb up to the top, and then you can see Lake Apopka in the distance. There's a couple of 90-degree turns, and then you're heading back down. But hey, it's unique to Florida. It's the highest point on the Florida Peninsula, and it's a fun ride. Don't fear the green swamp. Number 6 in our countdown is a ride that takes you through the green swamp just west of Orlando and about 28 miles from Tampa. The green swamp is a conservation area, which is actually a plateau with about 560,000 acres of wetlands and ridges. Rainwater drains across the surface and creates the headwaters for 3 major Florida rivers, and it replenishes the aquifers here in Florida that gives us safe drinking water. The land was purchased in the early 70s to piece together the area to protect our water for future generations. There are some really nice rural back roads here in the green swamp with a lot of twisties and hardly any traffic. These are backcountry roads though, and the road is not pristine. It's narrow in spots, so be careful, but it's definitely rideable, very scenic, and a must-do ride when you're in Central Florida. Number 5 on our list is County Road 445. It's an 11-mile route that runs between State Road 19 and State Road 40 in northern Lake County. It runs right by Alexander Springs recreational area and is part of the Florida Black Bear Scenic Byway. I have seen black bears walking along this road in the Ocala forest, but unfortunately not on this ride. This is a great back road with very little traffic, with good pavement, but unfortunately it's not very twisty. It does have a couple of sweepers, and you'll feel like you're in the woods and in a remote area. Just watch the sand in the road in spots from the crossroads. This area sees a lot of dirt bikes and ATVs and is a great access point to ride into the Ocala forest. Alexander Springs, by the way, has camping, and in the summer you can swim in the 72-degree spring, which is very popular and it gets very crowded. Number 4 on our list is the Esmeralda Island Road. This is an 8.1-mile drive that goes through a conservation area. It's just east of Lake Griffin in Lake County and southeast of Ocala. The road surface is in rough shape and there are grooves and ruts in the road, so you have to be careful. But the scenery is really amazing, and you have a real chance to see some wildlife along the way. So enjoy the ride, but just be careful. Number 3 on our list is A1A between Flagler Beach and St. Augustine. Because let's face it, nothing beats a ride along the ocean, especially during the winter. In this section of A1A, you have some great views of the surf as you roll along the beach. We rode north into St. Augustine, and if you've never been there, you owe it to yourself to check it out. All right, everybody, coming in at number 2 is the Ozello Trail. The Ozello Trail consists of several islands that are connected by County Road 494. We call this area of Florida the Nature Coast. 494 heads west off of US 98, which runs north to south, and it's about 60 miles north of Tampa. This is a very twisty road with 67 turns in, I think it's about 9 miles, and it heads straight out into the Gulf of Mexico. There are some really tight turns. In fact, there are a couple 10-mile-per-hour 90-degree turns. The town of Ozello was established just after the Civil War, and up until 1961, the islands, or keys as we call them, were only accessible by boats. Ripley's Believe It or Not mentioned the school in Ozello because the school bus was a boat. And Ozello is a small town with only about 1,000 residents, and it's surrounded by a nature preserve. At the very end of the Ozello Trail is a little ramp where you can access the Gulf. And there's also a seafood restaurant called Peck's with great seafood, fresh crabs, and lightly breaded fried seafood. The Ozello Keys also rank high as a great fishing spot here in Florida as well. I really highly recommend this road. I've ridden it several times, and in fact, if it was up to me, I think I would have ranked this number 1, but since Seaville Bill is my guest, he ranked it number 2, and that's where it sits on our list. All right, everybody, here's number 1. This has been ranked by Seaville Bill, my guest from Virginia, on our weekend ride here in Central Florida. It's State Road 13, which is just south of Jacksonville and runs along the banks of the St. Johns River. It's 28 miles long, and it's a beautiful ride without hardly any traffic. It's a 2-lane backcountry road with some very nice sweepers. Not a lot of twisties, but that's not why you're on this road. You're on this road because it's relaxing, it's beautiful, you've got huge old oak trees covered in Spanish moss, and you've got the view of the river, which is just absolutely gorgeous.
Lakeside Cafe in Eldora. On the Bucks flag. Let's see when they find that out.
This is Texas Blues. It is going down tonight.